One quiet evening, you're sitting alone in your room, typing a few thoughts into a writing app powered by AI. Just a handful of random ideas. Seconds later, the screen lights up with a passage. Gentle, coherent, and as if it had stepped straight out of your own mind. It knows you're sad. It puts into words what you couldn't. And strangely, you feel just a little bit lighter. We're living in a strange moment in time. A moment when a tool, an algorithm, can write stories, compose music, create paintings filled with emotion. A moment when a machine can talk to you every night, listen, comfort, even make you laugh or leave you moved. And then, quietly, a question begins to stir. If a machine can do everything I thought only humans could do, then what truly makes me human? You sit there pondering this question, your eyes still fixed on the screen. And then it hits you, slowly but deeply. Even these very words you're here were created by artificial intelligence. We used to pride ourselves on our creativity, our reasoning, our emotions. But now, all of it is being challenged. Subtly, AI is placing before us a mirror, not to reflect our appearance, but our essence. Maybe for the first time in history, we must answer with full honesty. What does it truly mean to be human? When AI becomes a mirror of ourselves, one of the most remarkable things about AI isn't what it creates. It's what it reflects. AI doesn't learn like we do. It doesn't grow up hearing bedtime stories. It doesn't learn love through a mother's gaze or fear through the shadows of a hallway. It learns from data, from millions of letters, essays, songs, conversations, social media posts, everything humans have ever written, said, or expressed. It learns from us. Every AI-generated response, every line of dialogue, every digital painting is a remix of humanity. It doesn't feel emotion, but it has learned to simulate it. It doesn't fall in love, but it knows how we talk when we do. It doesn't cry, but it can write poems that bring tears to our eyes. And that's where the unsettling part begins. AI is showing us who we are, not by inventing something new, but by distilling everything we've ever done and reflecting it back at us. Clean, fast, almost too perfect. AI is a mirror, but not the kind that hangs in your bedroom. It's the kind found in a laboratory, one that breaks down your thoughts, habits, patterns, and lays them bare. And sometimes when we look into it, we realize we're predictable. We repeat ourselves. We may not be as mysterious as we once believed. This realization can sting, but it also offers a strange kind of gift, a chance to search for the things that can't be replicated. The fragments of humanity that even a trillion data points can't touch, because the mirror never lies. It simply shows us what's already there. And sometimes, the truth is more disarming than we're ready for. The meaning of life, when thinking is no longer ours. Alone. For most of history, we believed thinking was our crown jewel, the very thing that set us apart from every other living creature. We reason, we imagine, we invent, and in doing so we built civilizations, languages, philosophies, and dreams. To think was to be human. To think was to be alive. But then AI arrived, and quietly, it began to think alongside us. A machine that never tires, never panics, can analyze billions of variables in seconds and make decisions with unnerving precision. AI now plays chess better than any grandmaster. It diagnoses illness faster than seasoned doctors. It can drive cars, design buildings, write music, edit films, and most astonishingly, it learns from its own mistakes. Suddenly, this sacred human skill, the ability to think, no longer belongs to us alone. So we must ask a new question. If thinking is no longer what defines life, then what does? The answer may lie not in technology, but in biology. In neuroscience, we learn that AI can simulate emotion, but it doesn't feel. It doesn't have a nervous system. No heartbeat that races with fear. No hands that tremble before a first kiss. No cortisol when overwhelmed. No oxytocin when held. It doesn't risk anything when it makes a choice. AI optimizes. Humans experience. There's a vast difference between processing information and living through it. AI can analyze the word grief 1,000,000 times, but it will never know what it's like to sit beside a hospital bed, fingers curled around a fading hand. It can generate 1,000 definitions of love, but it will never ache for someone who doesn't text back. That is the threshold. Life is not about efficiency. Life is about feeling broken, feeling wonder, feeling rage and learning how to forgive, feeling lost, and choosing somehow to try again. We are not just systems of logic. We are a symphony of contradictions, longings, impulses, and hopes. An AI can write a flawless poem, but a human, with a shaky hand and a tear-stained napkin, can write a single line that makes someone feel seen, because behind that line is a beating heart. Maybe AI doesn't erase our uniqueness. Maybe it reminds us of it. It shows us what machines can do, so we can rediscover what only we can be. How we will begin to live differently. As AI begins to do more of what we once thought only humans could do, something unexpected is happening. Instead of losing ourselves, we are slowly starting to find ourselves again. In a world where machines can analyze, calculate, predict, and compose, we are learning to feel more deeply, to notice more gently, to care more intentionally. We stop trying to compete with efficiency and start leaning into what makes us truly human. The quiet, the messiness, the sacred imperfection of being alive. When AI can write faster, draw cleaner, optimize better, we're no longer defined by how productive or polished we are. We're rediscovering the value of the unoptimized moment. The way paint smudges beneath a child's fingers. The way a story meanders and repeats before it finds its meaning. The way a song cracks because the singer's voice breaks with emotion. We return to art not to be the best, but to express what machines can't, our vulnerability. And when a chatbot can soothe you with carefully chosen words, you start to value even more a friend who sits beside you and says nothing at all. Because silence, shared between two hearts, is something no code can recreate. When an algorithm can plan your life with precision, you begin to appreciate spontaneity again. The slow mornings, the days that go nowhere, the small, irrational decisions that make life unexpectedly beautiful. Because in those unmeasured spaces, we're reminded that we're not programs, we're people. So maybe AI doesn't signal the end of our humanity. Maybe it's the mirror we needed. Not to prove we're better, but to remember what we already are. We don't need to be smarter than machines. We don't need to be faster or more precise or more productive. We just need to be more honest with ourselves, with our stories, with the people we love. And when we begin to live like that, not to outperform machines, but to be fully present in our imperfect, fragile, emotional existence, then no AI, no matter how advanced, can ever replace us. Because it was never about being perfect. It was always about being real, a journey back to the self. There's a quiet paradox in our time. Just as artificial intelligence begins to feel more human than ever, we are being called back to rediscover what it truly means to be one. When thinking is no longer our exclusive gift, when creativity can be mimicked, when emotion can be simulated, we begin to ask, what can't be copied? The answer isn't found in performance. It's found in the pause, in the tremble before truth, in the courage to love again after heartbreak, in the moments where logic falters, and yet we still choose kindness. AI doesn't know sacrifice. It doesn't ache from absence. It doesn't sit in stillness, waiting for forgiveness. It doesn't cradle a fading hand, whispering goodbye. But we do. And maybe it's in these raw, messy, aching moments that being human is most clear. So perhaps AI isn't here to redefine us. Perhaps it's here to remind us, to hold up a mirror and say, "You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real." And in this journey, not toward artificial intelligence, but toward authentic presence, we find the only definition that matters. Not the one in the data, not the one in the code, but the one in our choices, in our stories, in how we hold each other when the world becomes too much. Outro. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this reflection. I hope this wasn't just a video about AI, but an invitation to return, gently, to that quiet place within you that machines will never touch. I'll see you again in the next conversation that doesn't promise answers, but always welcomes your heart.